Hello everybody. Hi. This is the first FNAF video on my channel. I know you're all probably expecting another Angry Birds one, because of the reloaded update, whatever, that's not important. You're here because you clicked, because you wanted to know about this character you see on screen before you. And, that I say, I've seen a lot of people talk about Golden Freddy. Seen people give out their takes and what they believe is going on with this guy and why he's so weird. And I'm not disproving or discrediting any of them. They're all great theories and they're all perfectly valid in their own ways. This video is just going to be my own version of that. My own unique idea as to what's going on with Golden Freddy. Okay? Okay. Glad we're all on the same page now. So, let's get started. Speaking of getting started, this whole thing started because of when I was playing FNAF 3 for my my game channel, which you should probably check out, maybe. And while you go check out Booze and Bubbles Gaming, tell them to come over here for theories, because I'm not doing it over there anymore. Voice got too tiring after a while. And also, no branding problems. I already went over that. Point is, I was playing FNAF 3 and I thought, hey, wait a second. Phone guy was talking about how springlock failures caused the springlock suits to get shut down, right? At the assist location, implying Fredbear's at the time and even now. And so I thought about it and thought, wait a minute. Could this just be a cover-up for the bite of 83? And that was what I thought. And then I thought about it a little more. More accurately, I thought about the bite of 83 a bit more. And I realized that when the crying child gets bit, all his tears and sweat and negative emotions, it's all going into the Fredbear animatronic, right? We already know all this, we're only going here. Well, I noticed a couple other similar instances throughout the series. In the fourth closet, after Henry realizes that making the Charlie bots is a bad and stupid idea, he gets angry at the fourth one and starts beating it up, putting his, get this, tears and negative emotions into it, and from there, it becomes more violent. And similarly, though not exactly, in the Mimic, after David gets hit by a car, I'm sorry, I'm trying to do this with a straight face, he starts beating up the Mimic, and from there the Mimic learns violence. Again, not the exact same thing, but still a very similar idea. And so going back to the bite of 83, what if, when Fredbear bit Dave, all of his tears and negative emotions went into the Fredbear animatronic, and it got possessed by his agony. And from there, things started coming together. Think about it. After all this, and then after all the PR nonsense trying to cover it all up, what would happen afterwards? Well, Fredbear would have been worn by an employee at some point. But since the suit's possessed by agony, guess what happens? It starts acting erratic and more, I guess you could say, aggressive, and it could cause the spring locks to fail, eventually causing a spring lock fail. Well, I see, that's a bit redundant. Agony caused the spring lock failure mentioned in Night 4. And then the crying child's soul, after he dies in the hospital, whether he then would go on to possess the Fredbear plush, or the other MCI kids, or even the timeline itself, whichever you believe. I personally believe that last one, by the way. Just because it's the funniest one. And then about 2-ish years later, I want to say, William then kills Cassidy, and she goes on to possess Golden Freddy as well, alongside the crying child's agony. And if you believe it's the case, Andrew does so as well, somehow. I'm not getting into that debate, unless Secret of the Mix says something about it. I just started this channel. I'm not gonna lose it after 2 videos. So... there you have it. My idea that Golden Freddy is possessed by one spirit alongside the agony of the crying child and the bite of 83. I dub this theory Golden 1.5. I guess you could also say Golden 2.5 if the Andrew shit is true, but you know. 1.5 just sounds better either way. So, that's it. Okay, kind of a shorty theory. Nothing too crazy. Just kind of another idea for what Golden Freddy could be, right? Well, that's not all, I believe, about everyone's favorite yellow animatronic bear. I hope there's no other ones like that. No. I don't just think it's the number of souls inside Golden Freddy that's people aren't always 100% getting. No. I think it's also the location where he stays at for most of the time. It's not in the safe room. It's definitely not in the kitchen. Not anymore, at least. No. My friends, we're only halfway done with this theory. For I believe that Golden Freddy is taking a shit. Okay, I'm gonna move on from that before YouTube kills me. Okay, so what the heck do I mean by that? Well, I believe that Golden Freddy is hanging out in the bathrooms the whole time, and not the safe room or whatever. Stay with me. I do legitimately think this is not a joke theory. Okay, well, part of it's a joke theory, but most of it is not a joke theory. As you see here, one of the more odd moments, I guess, in FNAF 1 is the fact that Freddy, a male, hangs out in the female bathrooms. Now, prior to Pizzeria Simulator confirming he was a girl, most people just assumed the kid who possesses him was a girl. But that's obviously not the case anymore, so I, at the very least, chalk this up to one of 2 different possible reasons. Either, 1, it's an oversight from Scott that just he never really thought of during development, or 2, Freddy was just kind of feeling silly that day, versus you think, oh, I'm a big animatronic bear possessed by a child, or whatever. Who's going to stop me going into women's toilets? Chica? Which, to be fair, she doesn't go into any of the stalls in the first game, so, you know, at least that we don't see her go into any of the stalls. But there could also be another reason for this. Obviously involving Golden Freddy. Think about it this way. He's got like half the crying child in him, as 1.5 implies, alongside, at the very least, Cassidy, who most of the fandom does agree is female, but the movie and Ultimate Custom Night imply is a male. I have an explanation for that a bit later, and by that I mean a quick little idea as to why they're in the women's bathrooms anyway. Yeah, excuse me. Anyway. point is, no matter what way you slice it, Golden Freddy has quite a bit of supernatural activity going on inside of him. And I'm not 100% sure how this works in the FNAF universe. I guess the weird black liquid that comes with agony is the closest thing we have to ectoplasm in the FNAF universe, but either way, that amount of spirits and that amount of weird activity going on with Golden Freddy has got to create some sort of supernatural waste, right? What better way to get rid of it than to flush it down the toilet? That's probably where all the weird Fazbear Fright stuff comes from, for the most part, at least, anyway. Okay, maybe not, but still. Plus, this isn't really great evidence, but just kind of look at the way Golden Freddy's sitting. I know he's just supposed to be some sort of crumpled up animatronic dead position, but it does also kind of look like after he just teleported, gravity just sort of did its thing, as if there was a toilet there, and then poof, gone. In a way. That, again, not great evidence, but you can kind of see it, right? Right? Okay, well. Anyway. Either way, Golden Freddy would most likely want to hide away. So, figure women's toys would be safest since Night Guard would be male, but, you know. And the reason why Freddy's goes into the women's bathroom is to check in on Golden Freddy. Like, hey, you've been here? You've been in the bathroom for years at least. You doing alright? Or something, I don't know. Just kind of a fun little thought I had. As we try and explain why Freddy goes into the women's toilets. But that's not all the evidence I have for this. No. Go on over to FNAF 2 and take a look at its map. What's the one place we can't really see, similar to in the first game, besides the kitchen, which there probably isn't even a kitchen in FNAF 2, so why there isn't a kitchen is probably something I'm going to have to explain next. Don't worry, it probably has nothing to do with Golden Freddy this time. No, but in all seriousness, though, look at it. What's the one place we can't really see in here? And the answer being, just like in FNAF 1, the bathrooms. You also can't really see the kitchen, but that's dead. And there's more reasons for why we can't see the safe room and the bathroom in FNAF 1 and FNAF 2. Kind of understandable. You don't really want to watch people poop. It's gross and weird, but it would make the perfect place for Golden Freddy to hide. Now, hang on. What about the parts and service room? I mean, that's literally where Shadow Freddy is, right? And yeah, there's a little weird little section behind a wall there we can just kind of barely see. And that could be where Golden Freddy's hiding. And I'll admit FNAF 2 isn't the best evidence for this, but still some kind of evidence nonetheless. Where Shadow Freddy's sitting, you'd think it'd be on top of where it's at least implied Golden Freddy could be if he really is the shadow of Golden Freddy, right? Yeah, no, it's literally just right on top of Withered Bonnie. In a very similar position, too, by the way. So, yeah, that's a little weird. But, I mean, hey, it does help Shadow Freddy be noticeable, I suppose, which I think is the point. But I'm also not entirely sure. Right, but finally, take a look at the Follow Me minigame. Again, same map as FNAF 1, except years later when it's even more broken and torn down. Probably. No one can agree on a single thing in this franchise. Anyway, compare it to the FNAF 1 map I mentioned earlier. What can't we see and access in this? Well, besides the supply closet and the kitchen, just ignore those for now. And the answer is the bathroom stalls. And it's not just like they're left out for minigame purposes. No, those are very clearly boarded up in this. For some reason. Who knows why? And I think I know why. It's because there's a dangerous animatronic hiding in there. Probably. I don't know. But more importantly, after the animatronics get dismantled, we see the remains of Freddy, Bonnie, and Chica, and Foxy, all torn apart across the floor. And yet, weirdly enough, despite the fact that we play as what's heavily implied, at the very least, to be the Golden Freddy spirit, we don't see the remains of Golden Freddy at all anywhere. Not here, and definitely not in the safe room, where, at this point in the franchise, it's implied to be where Golden Freddy hangs out, right? We'd see at least a little head or something sticking out behind the arcade cabinets, right? And yet, we just kind of don't. And yeah, I get it. These are 8-bit minigames. They're supposed to be vague and up to interpretation for the most part, but, like, still. Oh, God. No. Oh, excuse me, everyone. Leftover coughs from colds. They suck. But if we consider Golden Freddy might be in the bathroom, where it's boarded up, and we can't access, well then, where's the kid coming from? Well, I'm not entirely sure. But it's possible Golden Freddy's doing that animatronic child ghost projection thing that they can do in the movie for some reason. I don't know why, but it's possible it's explaining why the Golden Freddy child is there, despite Golden Freddy probably not being destroyed. And yeah, it makes sense, because Golden Freddy's gonna need to be intact later for William to, like, merge with him. So, yeah. So, with that being said, there you have it. My theory that there is 1.5 spirits inside of Golden Freddy, and that he's actually hanging out in the bathroom the whole time. See, I told you it wasn't entirely a joke theory. So, what do you think, though? Is my first FNAF theory already thrown me under the bus? That I don't... I'm pretty sure I hope that's what that means. Did I already screw myself over with this video, or did I actually put out an interesting idea? Let me know in the comments. And with that being said, I think that'll do it. If you like this video, then you know what to do. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.